Hey guys, welcome to Bloggers United. Welcome to another video, and today is time to talk about Aleksander Isak, the young prodigy striker that Real Sociedad had this season from Sweden, and he is an absolutely fantastic player. In this international break, forgive me if I've missed a few days of uploading. I just started school again, and between that and that, there's little to no Barcelona news. I felt like it was good to give myself a rest, get myself on track for school, and be ready to get videos in a regular fashion. And I'll try to get as many videos and try to upload as frequently as possible as I can. It is interesting to talk about Aleksander Isak. I think that he's a player that's shown a lot, that I think has had really good spells wherever he's played. I agree that at Borussia Dortmund he wasn't the most prominent player, but again, he wasn't given the amount of minutes to prove anything. But what we've seen at Willem and throughout his career, even in Borussia Dortmund's second team, he was being quite a good goal scorer. And I believe Real Sociedad, if they give him the minutes that he needs, I believe that, William Jose is about to turn 28 this year. Aleksander Isak is 19, turning 20 this month, so he has a lot of years on him. I think that William Jose is a good striker, but I think Isak, I'm not gonna lie to you, I think he's already better. He's a player that has a lot of potential, and I'm talking about it because I need Barcelona to sign this player. Like, I see it very clear in my eyes. And there's a lot of players that I think Barcelona should sign. But this is a different case. This is special because he's at a good age where he's really young. So if he comes to Barcelona with 21 years old, he's not gonna make a problem for the dressing room, because he knows that he's gonna get some limited minutes. And although the most important thing for young players is to get a lot of minutes, I believe that there is minutes for players like Aleksander Isak in this team. And although I am a very big advocate for using La Masia and using the youngsters, and I know there's the likes of Carles Perez, Ansu Fati, Abel Ruiz. Ansu Fati I think is too young. I think that he should not be given that many minutes from that age, because if things start going wrong for him, the media could start attacking him, and a really good promising player could end up being seen as he's not good enough. Well, all he needs is actually more minutes, but at that young age he still has to develop physically, tactically, he could develop a lot. So, and in terms of Carles Perez and Abel Ruiz, they're good players, but I think Isak has potential to be a world superstar, and I think that this is the moment to sign him. I think he could have a really good season at Real Sociedad. And why do I say this? Because I don't care about his numbers, but he's had really good goal scoring numbers. For 6 months, he played for Willem II in the Eredivisie. For 18 games, and scored 14 goals. That is a really good return in goals. That's very good, and I believe that his numbers going forward could be really good in La Liga with players like Oyarzabal, Odegaard, Januzaj. He's a player that could develop into a really good striker. He's also a player that, as you've seen, he profiles to me very similarly to Samuel Eto'o or to maybe Luis Suarez. That's the kind of striker I think he is. He's a good presser. He could improve that, but he's a good presser. He has a good pass. He basically can defend himself outside of the box, which is what every Barcelona striker needs to be able to do. Not just be a good poacher inside the box and get into the good areas, but distract the center backs, to fight with the midfielders and center backs, break the lines, run into the space, good association for the midfielders and wingers. Pretty much he has everything, and he's tall, he's fast, he's good dribbling, good shot on him, and to be a good striker, he doesn't have that shot where he tries to get everything into the corner, but you don't need that. For strikers, what's important is putting the ball in the back of the net, and Samuel Eto'o and players like Suarez understood this very quickly and very effectively. The same thing as Ronaldo, actually. The best goal scorers normally are not the players that try to put everything into the corner, but rather players that know that once they're in possession, go for the weakest side of the goalie. Go low with a driven shot into the low side, into the weak side of the goalie, and more than not, that's the best position to score goals. He has a repertoire to be able to play really well. He's a decent header, and most importantly, for me, the most important thing in what separates him from a lot of players, because a lot of young players have all these things that I've just listed, but the level of maturity in his play is unbelievable. And yes, I get that this is the Eredivisie, that he's just about to play in the top 5 league, consistent minutes, but I think that what I've seen of him, it's just good enough, because I see his decision making. Doesn't matter how bad the other players are, when your decision making is eventually above everyone else. He knows when to pass, when to shoot, when to dribble, when to make a run, when to drop back for a pass, like moving to the space, into association. It is very effective with the likes of Isak. So I think that for his age, Suarez, I think he's going to get transition out in 1 or 2 more years. I think this could be his last season or maybe the next one. But Suarez is running out. We're not going to have Suarez forever. And I think that Griezmann, he's going to be finishing with 29 years old at the end of this season. So Griezmann is also getting in that latter stage of his career, in the twilight of his career. So we need a backup in that position. I believe that eventually a forward line of Messi, Isak, Griezmann, and if Dembele stays fit or someone else, could be really good. Then we're also giving space for Carlos Perez, Abel Ruiz, Ansu Fati to, get progressive minutes into the squad and not have to have that much pressure of having to perform at the highest level possible. I think that with 1,500 minutes a season, 2,000 minutes a season, which is perfectly normal, if Suarez is not playing, it could be really good for him. It could be good for his development. Playing along the sides of Frankie de Jong, Arthur, fullbacks like Jordi Alba, Semedo that could have really good crosses. He just pretty much has everything and could develop into a really good striker. I think that we've seen some of the best strikers in history come out of the Eredivisie, like Ronaldo, Luis Suarez, Ibrahimovic. There's a lot of names that have come from the Dutch league, so don't disregard it as a weekly. Look at the player, look at what he's able to do, and I see Isak as one of the most promising youngsters. If he plays, my prediction should be, in a normal season, like in La Liga, if Sociedad have a decent season, he can keep himself fit and play a lot of minutes, and they give him a lot of continuing opportunities. Isak is a striker for me that could perfectly score 15 goals a season and give 5 assists or 10 assists a season. I think that he's more than capable, and stats are not the most important thing, but I believe that the play with him is going to be unbelievable, because William Jose, he's a good hold-up striker and he associates pretty decently, but outside of the box he's not as effective. And I think that with Mikel Oyarzabal, Adnan Januzaj and Martin Odegaard giving him support, giving him delivery, it's gonna be great for a player like him. And if I'm proven right, then imagine what he's gonna do when he has Arthur, De Jong, Messi, Griezmann, Dembele, Alba, all these great players supplying to him. Then his statistics should skyrocket, because he's not gonna be the protagonist of this team. I don't think that he, attacking wise, is gonna be the protagonist, but he's gonna be able to habilitate other players to be the best version of themselves, and that is the best version of Alexander Isak. Something very similar to, for example, Sebastian Haller last season, where Luka Jovic was the star, but I don't think without Sebastian Haller, the likes of Jovic and Rebic would have been able to flourish as much as they did last season. So if we can do this with Isak, he could basically take the role of Luis Suarez, where the best Luis Suarez does all the dirty work, so Messi is able to get those spaces in the final third and do the magic that he only knows how to do himself. It is very important to also know when to buy. Like, this is a good market opportunity because what is he gonna cost you at 20 years old? Borussia Dortmund have a buyback clause of about 30 million, so around that price tag, I think that you could get him out of Real Sociedad for next season. Even if he has a really good season, let's say he goes up to 50 million, he's a really good striker, and to me, he's the best thing that I've seen together with Luka Jovic for a while in terms of like central strikers. And he's a player that has everything. His decision making is absolutely fantastic. His weak foot is pretty decent, and again, like I said, his decision making is one of the best that I've seen in world football. So he definitely is a player that has a lot going forward for him. He just needs to develop a bit more in his, like, you know, technique. But that is all things that are very promising and very developable. Like, the hardest thing to develop in a player is decision making and attitude, and I think he has done in abundance. For example, look at the case of Emre Mor. Emre Mor, on normal conditions, he should be one of the best young prospects in the world. Emre Mor, by just technique, should be probably on the level of maybe Jadon Sancho, Sané, Dembele, players like that. Players that just purely on technique should be on that level, but because his attitude stinks and his decision making sucks, then we see what happens. He's not professional, he doesn't go to training as he should, and the coaches don't know coaches like him. I think that's a big indicative of what is the attitude of the player. And decision making wise, he's young and he could develop in that. And that's why finding a player like Isak, who has already a great decision making for his age, it's so valuable in a player more than just technique, because technique can only get you so far, but attitude and understanding the game is much more important in today's day and age. So leave me your opinions about Isak. What do you think of the player? Do you think that he's a good option for Barcelona? Do you think that maybe there's another name that we should sign for central striker going forward? Who do you think should be that player? And with all said and done, leave me all your opinions in the comment section below. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next one, Blaugranas.